Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, we got the Mazda 3 going. We're trying to get it working. For starters, we took the intake manifold off, the valve cover off, I mean, and doing the valve cover gaskets. Got my brother here putting the new gasket in. While we took the valve cover gasket off, we decided to change the spark plugs as well. I'll show you what we changed them with. Put some new Champion spark plugs in. As you can tell, these were the old ones. They were the NGK LTR. We also changed the throttle body gasket as well. So one thing that we noticed is that the odometer shows 100,000, but the engine has been changed. As you can tell, 2.3 liter. It says good after we tried to clean the crap out of it. So we don't know with this car how many kilometers it has. It could have 150, could have 200,000, could have 300,000. We don't even know. We tried to start it today and we're getting power to the starter, but the starter's not working. So now we got to order a starter and try to see when we can get it. Now with this whole COVID virus, puts a delay on things, so we're trying to get this as a surprise gift for our mom. But looking at the spark plugs, doing valve cover gaskets, and trying to get it running, we got to see if this car is even worth it or not. So, but we want to get it started for you. We want to see how it runs, maybe do a compression test, go from there. The valve cover gaskets are a Felpro right here. Then this covers the Duratec 2.3 liter. And we also got a new map sensor. Yes, it is raining outside. And a air filter, new air filter for it as well. And then we also changed the battery terminals as well. So this one we got brand new from Mazda, and that's for the positive side. And for the neutral side, we just went to the local hardware store over here. It's Canadian Tire. Picked up a new negative terminal. The old one seemed kind of crusty. So let's go back over here. All of the when you're putting a new valve cover gasket in, you want to make sure the surface is nice and clean. So you got the center one over here, you got one over here, and you also have one in the middle as well. Then you got the big loop around that goes all the way around. So we used a small scrubber, and I think it was a brass, or no, what did we use? The screwdriver. We used the screwdriver method, and tried to take all the crap out of here and make sure it's nice and clean. So yeah, so we're just finishing that up right now. There you go. Perfect. Now each of the bolts holding the valve cover gasket down are an 8 mil. Let's try to And we also noticed on a couple of the coils, they got some oil on them too, so we cleaned those as well, so that we don't have any issues on startup. Yeah, that PCV line goes underneath. Okay. So when you're putting a valve cover gasket down, you want to make sure that we go in a crisscross pattern to make sure that the gasket sits 100%. We don't have any more future leaks. And also remember which coil feeds which spark plug. Luckily for us, this is only a 4-cylinder, and each of the coils sort of guide of where it's going to go, so there's no mix match to put like 4 to 3 or 3 to 2 or something like that. So we're gonna just hand tighten them right now. Get everything secured. Okay, now also remember where you put your connectors for the sensors as well. So we're just going to tighten that up right now. We can't do a startup for you. Unfortunately, like we said before, the starter is not working. We tried to see if we can hit it, but nothing's happening. So could be that the car sat before I picked it up. Could also be maybe another issue that we gotta try to find as well. Could be something stuck in the starter, or could be, we don't know. But we're gonna change the starter anyway, and like I said, it did run 3 times, and we were getting proper voltage. We didn't hear any knocking or anything, so hopefully this engine has a lower kilometer run on it than what the odometer is showing. But that's one of the fun things that you get. The car didn't cost us too much anyway, so I'm not really too concerned. But the previous owner didn't even know us. Well, the spark plugs, we checked online with the manufacturer, and for Mazda 3 we gap them to a 0.51 gap. the ones that we pulled out were ranging from 0.41 to, what was the other one? 0.48?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. So always make sure when you put in a new spark plugs to always just double check and make sure that the gap is correct, because you never know. Like I said, a lot of things are made very quick, and it's always better be safe than sorry, because you can, like as we found out here, Mazda calls for 0.5 gap on a spark plug, and we're getting anywhere from 0.4 to 0.6. 0.4 to 0.46. So, and these were all they're all platinum spark plug. That's what Mazda recommended, so that's what we put in. So we're just finishing buttoning up the valve cover gasket here. Everything looks tight, everything looks good. Also, it's also a good rule of thumb when you buy a used vehicle, doesn't matter how many kilometers there are, to just change the spark plugs. They're a cheap and easy way to see how the vehicle was running. Also, so you know from the start that the spark plugs were changed, and it can also benefit from increased fuel economy and amongst other things. So we're going to put the coils in now. So they just basically slide right in, and then go like that. These bolts as well for the coils are an 8mm as well. So every vehicle we usually buy, we usually just clean the throttle body, put a new throttle body gasket in. If they do come with an idle air control, clean the idle air control valve and put a new gasket in, and then new air filter if it hasn't been changed already, and spark plugs. That's usually the preliminary maintenance items that we usually do on any vehicle. Doesn't matter if it has 100,000 or 400,000. So it's always good to have a good starting point to make sure that proper maintenance was done on the vehicle, and then you can also go further and change the coolant, change the fluid on the transmission, differential fluid, even like what we're doing right now, change the valve cover gasket. We know there was some oil leakage on the side over here and at the back, so so cheap with these 4 cylinders. The 4-cylinder Durtex are not too bad to pop the valve cover off and change them. Seems like every 4-cylinder Duratec, they're known to have valve cover gaskets that leak. So cheap and easy way, and within 30 minutes you can get that swapped right out. So there you go. The coils are in, new plugs, new valve cover gasket. We cleaned the throttle body as well, and we just got to hook up the PCV line. But yeah, and there's the shiny cover. So thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna order a starter today for the Mazda, and hopefully get it running, and hopefully we'll see if we have any more issues with this thing. I know the power steering was giving us an issue when I first started it. It seems like, well, there was no fluid in it, so that probably was why the power steering was making a whole whack of noise. But yeah, we'll go from there. And as always, if you guys can like, subscribe, comment. I know we have to on this car, we ordered a new radio face cover, and the driver's side window regulators control to move the windows up and down. So we'll show you that as well probably this week, and we'll go from there. So thanks again, and have a good one.